How do I find peace in this in 2020? America is raging right now. It is a hard time to find peace for a variety of reasons. We've got COVID-19, which subsided a bit. Lots of states opened up their economies, and now those states and some of them are surging with record amounts of COVID cases. We don't know what the death total is going to go to, but it's not gone. And that's really affecting people's psyche. That coupled with the recent racial protests nationally and national outrage over the killing of George Floyd really have us wondering how in the heck can we ever find peace, especially our individual inner peace. And so I've heard dissenting voices on both sides of this issue, and that's just among African Americans. For instance, I recently watched a video by Candace Owens, who is a conservative commentator, who posted a YouTube video basically denouncing George Floyd and the black community, saying that we are accused by her of making a martyr out of a criminal, and that we are the only culture that does this. And it was really a despicable display of compassion for what has happened to this man. It's like we can argue all day about what type of person he is or isn't, or he wasn't exemplary, but that shouldn't have happened. And she disrespected him and basically despicably spat on his grave before he was even buried. Now, digging deeper, looking at some of the people that she quoted and sourced in her talk, was a gentleman named Shelby Steele, who's another conservative, who's a senior fellow at Stanford University, big time, heavyweight, mentally, allegedly. And I'm not going to doubt that. I don't mean any disrespect for the gentleman, because he's earned his degree and he's earned his fellowship and he's earned his right to express his opinion, obviously. But Mr. Steele maintains that, racism basically doesn't exist anymore, and that in some ways it's a figment of the imagination of the African American psyche. And this is based on data that he's collected and his experience as a black person growing up in the 50s, where there was true segregation and racism going on. And I just beg to differ with Mr. Steele, because this isn't about just general racism and opportunities for blacks. Though we did find the common ground in the middle of our Venn diagram of what we believe, which a lot of it's opposite, and that common ground that I found with him was black empowerment and the greatness of the black culture and of individual blacks who have achieved. But that misses the point of what we're protesting here. What we're protesting is social and specifically legal injustice. The justice system has failed George Floyd in this instance. And this is on the heels of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. So it's like it reached a flashpoint where people just couldn't take it anymore. And police need to be held accountable. Now, I believe 100% that the majority of police officers are decent, if not exemplary, human beings that deserve our appreciation, respect, and gratitude for the dangerous work that they do. But just like any business would be held to, policing in America needs to take responsibility for the failures that are happening in their departments. And that needs to happen with more intensive training. There needs to be citizens review panels for every municipality. There needs to be ongoing training for de-escalation and empathy, and also a focus of just getting every officer to understand the humanity, the thoughts, beliefs, needs, and concerns of the communities they served. And hopefully they can find a way to do this by getting police and the communities together in more relaxed atmospheres, just so they can sit and interact as humans. Because right now, sure enough, we've made progress. This isn't the 50s, but we're not there yet. And we need to continue to improve and grow till we're batting 100%. Because every life matters. Right now, Black Lives Matter, because that is where the problem lies in these circumstances. Now, I want to change gears for a second. And I went over a part of my book. I have an upcoming book, 29 Degrees, How to Live a Life of Inner Peace, Joy, and Purpose and Fulfillment, regardless of circumstances. And I want to go into the spiritual realm because that is where we really need to go to really tap in to our inner peace and our individual inner peace. Yes, we need to be socially active. Yes, protest was a good start, but it's the coming weeks and months and years of follow-up and follow-through that is truly going to get us where we need to get to as a society. But for now, let's deeper into the spiritual realm a little bit. Now, forgive me, I'm going to read the rest of this, which is excerpts of my book, and you can understand how I feel and how I feel we need to proceed spiritually to gain a deeper sense of peace through this. Here we go. What if throughout all of this, rain, shine, you were able to experience joy? What if in the darkness of grief and loss, you were able to rejoice about all that was shared, contributed, instead of being overwhelmed by the sadness of having someone or something cherished suddenly taken away? What if you could instantly accept those in your life exactly as they are, reveling in their uniqueness instead of struggling to change them into your idea of the ideal? What if life was unfolding in a perfect way according to the divine, and all you had to do was accept this fact and align your consciousness with what you were currently experiencing? Instead of lamenting or trying to change things, having faith that the universe is indeed working in every moment on your behalf. Your ability to recognize the divine in each of these scenarios is your key to living your life in the orgasmic throes of inner peace, joy, and fulfillment. This brings up a question for consideration that many of you will have, that we will address deeper in a later chapter, and that is, what then of making a positive impact on feeding the hungry? Or what about ending social injustice or ending the uncalled for carnage of needless wars and conflict? The short answer is, take action when so inspired, but let your actions be motivated and guided by the love you have in your soul to change these things, your compassion for society. Let your passion for the evolving of mankind be your guide. Let your steps be guided by the unconditional love and spirit, not tainted by the seeming disgust of the circumstances. In this way, your perspective for and compassion for why these things exist in the first place will illumine your path and infuse you with an understanding that will guide you to right action, right choices, and the allies that you will need all along the way. Sometimes in personal or societal crisis, the greatest peace comes in the midst of you taking action. When you are actively moving in the direction of a solution armed with conviction and faith, deep inner peace can be achieved even in the face of disenchantment. May peace be with you all in all your endeavors. I'm Eric. Namaste, and have a peaceful day.